renarspodcast.
I've got a very serious and important question to ask you.
Wait. Say it again.
I have a very serious and important question to ask you.
Go.
How did you get into skydiving?
Ooh, here you go. Skydiving was on the list for a while, and then on my 30-something birthday, I thought, I would give somebody's going to be my present. And I went to Madrid, and funny enough, I was supposed to be jumping right day before my birthday, but we flew up, and all of a sudden the weather changed, and it was too windy for me to jump. We flew down, and then I would jump next day, which was my birthday. Why? It was, listen, since I started doing stunts, it was always about just trying new things. And like the skydiving was there, and being a stunt performer, it's like, yeah, you do things for fun, but that could be used for your work. So that's how I got into horse riding. It's also like doing trick riding, like bike stuff. But yeah, skydiving, I was just like, I need to tick this on my list, and I started doing it, and I just couldn't stop.
How many jumps you done there?
100.
Yay!
100.
Woo! Press a button. Press a button.
Wait, it's been 100. Yeah, because you left, and then that did you?
I left you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it was supposed to be my 300th, and
yes, right.
My next jump after I left was 300, but I had to go.
Yeah.
So you did your 100th.
I did my 100. Landing was one of the worst landings I ever had.
Yeah.
But I did it.
Did you wear clothes?
Did you remember that I got banned twice? 2 days in a row.
I wasn't going to raise it, but we're on camera. You got banned twice, 2 days in a row.
Yeah, 2 days in a row. So for people to understand, I didn't do anything like whatever horrible. I just landed. As I would land, I just did it wrong. Like I was the last landing
the wrong
was
direction or something?
with the wind.
Yeah.
and I remember I thought, because it was almost no wind, and I thought, oh whatever, I'm just gonna go with wind, and I slid on my butt for about 10 meters in this hay, in this straw, whatever. And I remember I just lied down. I was like, oh my God, I hope no one saw it. And I just poked my head out. Anyone see me? And I see the instructors already walking towards me. Renars, you're banned again.
Again, oh dear.
I was like, yes.
But you got to your 100th jump.
Yeah, I got to my 100 jump.
Amazing.
I'm very happy with that.
Congratulations.
And skydiving, I think, right now I'm in the place where, so for those who don't do skydiving, if you want to be serious about it, you want to buy your own canopy, your own rig, which you do have.
Yeah.
So for me, I think I'm not passionate enough to get there yet. Maybe eventually, because also it's quite expensive, even though I could afford it, but I would be like, I'm not going to be jumping enough. And now I'm going back to Indonesia, where in Bali, there's not much skydiving going on anyways. Yeah. If that would be the case, maybe then I would consider it.
Yeah.
No, skydiving is so much fun, but my landings are just, now when I got back, it was just getting worse and worse. I don't know what's going on, but that was 3 years out of practice. So
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
I absolutely love it. I've done 14 jumps in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, because the question goes now, so what about you, Steve?
Yeah,
how did
that's
you get
right.
into it?
Well, I got into it. Yeah. No, do you want me to tell you how I got into it?
Please. We can't wait. Tell us.
Yeah, tell us. So I was working, in fact, I did my first jump when I was at university just because it seemed fun. And then I did a course of 14 in the Air Force. But then I left it for years. And it was one of those moments where I'd been working in a startup and everything was too exhausting. It was electronic financial reporting. The market wasn't ready and I was knocking myself out. I was working with Japan in the morning and San Francisco in the evening, which sounds glamorous until you realise what that means for the length of your day. And I was exhausted. And I just reached a point where I thought, this can't go on. I've got to stop, got to take a break, I've got to regroup. So, great sorrow, left the company. And I thought, I'm going to take 6 months off. And I did a driving course, fast driving course, performance driving course.
Where did you do the driving course?
It was with a guy based in Lincolnshire. So we did some stuff off the highway and some on the highway. A guy called Hugh Noblet, who had a master driver's course. I don't think he's running it anymore, but Hugh would train police officers and special forces and stuff. So it was a real privilege to get to train with him. Yeah.
Was it involved some precision driving as well?
It's about roadcraft. So trying to drive like a police officer would drive, basically. But obviously you have to drive within the law. But
If you want to get into that more a little bit, there's in Ireland. There's one stunt guy who teaches courses as well, and most of the stunt guys go train there. I haven't done it, but as far as I've seen, it's really cool. Like just like all
I'd
this,
love to do that.
like a parkings with a handbrake, and you just slide in between two cars and things like that.
Yeah, no, I love that, but it wasn't about stunt driving. It's about driving to the highest possible standard.
There you go.
So it's probably the highest standard driving you can do. It's the entry standard of something called the High Performance Club, which we don't talk about. It'd be like Rosper Gold as the basic entry standard, broadly speaking, and then you try and improve from there. So I did that course, and that was amazing, really fulfilling, and then went to learn to skydive. And I was so exhausted, I couldn't do it. I got there, I thought, I'm just not ready. And I went to Portugal. It was Madrid, the same place we were skydiving. And I went to Portugal and just chilled for the weekend and had a nice time.
Portugal or Spain?
Yeah, I drove to Portugal from Madrid. I was in my car, and I drove over to Lisbon and just chilled for a weekend. Went back. I did 4 jumps, and I started spinning, and I couldn't face it. And I left. They thought they'd never see me again because it was, it was bad. I delayed it and then dropped out after 4. I went to the wind tunnel and learnt to fly my body, and I went back and I just completely aced it.
Yeah. Wind tunnel makes huge difference.
Wind tunnel's so amazing. There's a place called Empuria Brava and the Costa Brava, which has a wind tunnel on site. I'd recommend anybody do a tandem to see if you like skydiving. Then go to the wind tunnel for 10 minutes. And once you've been in the wind tunnel for 10 minutes, can fly your body, get stable on heading, you'll just ace straight through an AFF course. And without any frightening moments, apart from the obvious jumping out of an aeroplane. So I got into it really as a way of trying to refresh myself from being exhausted, almost like one of several midlife crises, And it was
how many you had of those? How many?
At least 3. I've had at least 3.
Explain me. What do you mean? What do you think?
Because when I left the Air Force, I'd been bullied twice. It was unfortunate. I love being in the Air Force, but I was bullied. I know I don't stand for bullying now, but I got bullied twice in the Air Force, and I was
while you were there.
Yeah. And so I left the Air Force because they weren't going to give me the career I wanted. I'd been bullied, and that was a bit of a crisis moment. Did an MSc, changed course, and then the next one was the one I just described, where I was again just exhausted through work and. Tried again, and I think just recently it's been a tough time. I've spent 7 years at the centre of great political events, whether it's been Brexit or then COVID. I led the COVID, deputy chair of the COVID recovery group with Mark Harper, the chairman. But he wouldn't mind me saying I founded it and then asked him would he please chair it. He chaired it with great skill and aplomb, and I'm glad to have worked with him. But set up that thing, and then the net zero work I'm doing, and it puts me at the heart of all these great controversies all the time. Do you know what? I don't mind admitting that's hard going. Get a lot of hate, a lot of people who are just frightened, whether it's COVID or net zero. They think it's life and death, possibly because it is. But I suppose there's a common crossover theme there, is that the skydiving's life and death, and what you have to do is understand what you're doing, make a plan, do the right thing at the right time, and make a success of it. And real life is serious, and this is something I think we forget. It is possible to live a quite light and easy life, but actually real life's very, very serious. Things go terribly wrong, and I think we need politicians, we need a public who are willing to face up to life as it actually is. So like Jordan Peterson talks a lot about this and gets very unpopular for it, but we've got to face up to life being a struggle. I mean, almost everybody we meet is going to be struggling. So the last few months for me, after 7 years of being at the centre of events, have been pretty tough. But I've been fine. But that's why there's the facial hair, the stubble beard, and that's why there's the necklaces. So these are about remembering that I'm a fast catamaran sailor. I picked these up in Greece, and the necklace is this, Christian obviously, but this one's main parachute release pin.
Yeah.
And this is very stereotypical, and I don't care.
Yeah, I think I saw it. I straight away said, like, can you come up with something more original?
Yeah, it's so stereotypical.
Well, just tell what it is, and don't step away from the microphone.
Sorry, I'm stepping away from the microphone. So this is yeah. So this is a main parachute release pin. You throw the drogue. The drogue pulls out this strap. The strap then turns this pin upright, pulls it out, and the parachute comes out. And it's very, very stereotypical to find a 50...
But how often people who never done skydiving, they know what it is?
No, almost never. They ask me what it is. No idea. What's the pendant? Yeah. And that's one of the joys of wearing it, actually, is it's just reminding me every day that I really am a skydiver, and that means something to me. And I really am a fast catamaran sailor, and that means something to me. After years off, I went to Greece because we've all had to like try and recover our lives after COVID, right? So I had a skiing holiday, then I went sailing, bully for me, nice for me, glad I could afford it, and then did some skydiving where I met you. But to go back to sailing after years off and find I could just get in a very fast boat in a very strong wind and just do it was so fulfilling. Sailing videos.
Okay, which one we go?
That one will do with two of us on that little boat. Yeah, that's a Hobie 16 with this is loads and loads of wind. Hobie 16. This is a nice lady called Swantje, who's a German lady, and I liked crewing for her because she was transitioning from monohulls to catamarans. And so for her, I was a great crew because I would do what I was told. I was glad to be a crew, but I knew how to sail the boat. So, and being heavier is better as crew. So what you can see, if you look at the water, look how fast we're going there.
That is fast. How fast is it?
It's probably about, 20 knots maybe.
Oh, don't tell me knots.
Well, 25 miles an hour, something like that, which on the water is fast.
Yeah.
So you can see she's spilling quite a lot of wind, and the hull is still in. But ideally what she'd do is pull that sheet in even harder, and here she goes, and try and get the hull out. But you can see we're caning across the water there. So yeah, these are nice, and there's a couple of capsize videos on there as well. But there we go. Yeah, does she save it? Yes, wow. She saves it. Yeah, it's good. And then we go capsizing in the other way. This is when we broke the boat. Yeah, there we go. Nice capsize.
Wow.
But that's what happens. You sheet in a long way and capsize one way, and then you have to you sheet out again. And
I love the camera work. It looks so cool.
Yeah, that's the Insta360. It's such an amazing.
Where did you put it, on the sail?
I put it on the tiller bar.
Oh, okay.
So you can see the other rudder down there in the water. So it's got an extension on it, and I put it on the rudder bar.
And tiller bar. I don't know what those things
are.
Well,
the bar that steers the boat. So yeah, it's a really cool camera because it captures everything.
Yeah.
I've forgotten what I put in this video, but again, we're going quite fast here. This is Vasiliki Bay, and you can see.
Look at you just chilling. I love it.
I am just chilling. Yeah, it's easy.
What kind of muscles would you involve there, or
it's
there's
a lot
not
of core.
much?
A lot of core. Yeah. So obviously, hauling on the ropes, you need a lot of arm and shoulder strength, which I know it doesn't look like it to you, but I have been working out. I've got bigger arms than I've had. Yes, thank you. I have been working out for this holiday. But, you spend hours heaving on these. Look at that hull coming out. Nice. So that's what you really want. You want to get the boat with the hull just out of the water, which is when it's at its fastest. So, yeah, you lose a lot of muscles on that rope she's holding. That's the main sheet. It's a lot of weight on that. Look at how she's flying the hull. That's ideal.
And that's the speed, again, about 25 miles per hour.
Yeah, it's something a bit less than that. 25 is about the top end. Much beyond that, they become uncontrollable. But, there's a few videos like this. But that's a good upwind course there, quite fast.
Nice.
But, yeah, it's fun when you get on these boats. It looks like we're just chilling and it's easy, and it is when you know how to do it. But if you haven't sailed very much, these boats are very, very powerful. They're very, very fast, and they.
That's the interesting one. Like when people see visually certain things, they kind of say, "Oh, this is impressive," or "This is not impressive." It's insane. There's this one move which called the cork when you're doing tricking in gymnastics. When you basically, as you kick your leg up and you twist as well. So we have this one guy. His name's Matteo, and I'm actually going to have him on a podcast soon. He's 39 years old. He's the oldest guy in the world who can do triple cork.
Wow.
So instead of spinning once, you spin 3 times around, which is insane. And he basically, people who see it, they can't say the difference between double cork or triple cork.
And it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a huge deal because it's like just insane how fast you have to spin. And then he does just a normal backflip. People think that's more impressive. It's basically, it's like if you haven't tried or attempt to this, it's difficult for you to kind of appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know?
Blah, blah, blah. Renarspodcast.